All right, y'all. It is time to shine. It is time to shine. We are back for another very special edition of the Run the Jewelz podcast show and vidcast series. I'm your host, Julian Smartrimple, King Jewelz here, ready, locked, and loaded to run these jewels for another episode today, you all. Thank you for our wisdom listeners and our Twitter space listeners who are getting exclusive access to today's episode, you all. But if this is your first time rocking with us, the RTJ Lifestyle Show was created to spread inspiration to young professionals, millennial entrepreneurs, and who want to learn wisdom on how to shine brighter in their careers or their businesses. And so if you are a millennial, we appreciate you rocking with us today. If you are a Gen Zer, we thank you for rocking with us. But even if you're a baby boomer, we still have love for all of our baby boomers that are listening out there to our podcast. But shout out to you all who are our shining jewels for today. Also, if you want to be a potential guest on the RTJ show, feel free to click the link that we're putting in the comment section right now to sign up with our interest form. If you are a phenomenal king or queen that has a testimony, or if you are a business owner or entrepreneur that has a product or service that you want to talk to our audience about, feel free to sign up for our interest form, and our team will comb through and see if you have what it takes to be one of our VIP shining jewels. You can listen to our podcast on all podcast or music streaming platforms, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or music artist but also we recently added this season where you can ask exclusive Q&A questions before our episode premieres for the guests that we are interviewing. So follow us on Wisdom. If you don't know about Wisdom, you definitely need to ask somebody. Go to Wisdom on the app stores right now, and even Twitter spaces where we have access to our shining jewels to ask Q&A live questions to our guests. But shout out to all of you all who are rocking with us today. If you have any questions, Wisdom listeners, or even Twitter space listeners, at any time of the interview, feel free to come onto the stage. This is a live interactive interview and podcast show. And so I'm just the host that's leading the discussion. But if you have any questions, feel free to come onto the stage. Don't be shy. No question is too outlandish or too outrageous. We are going to do our best to have, myself and our guests answer any questions that you may have. So those are all of our housekeeping for today. Shout out to our shining jewels who are already tuning in early with us. But we are diving in for our episode today, you all. Literally, we are talking about the entertainment industry. And so how to navigate the entertainment industry as a biracial leader is our subject matter for today. And I'm going to be introducing one of our guests that is going to be sharing her testimony and even her experience with you all. I met this dynamic queen literally here in Atlanta. She is one of the leaders and also one of the profound individuals that are doing some major work in the entertainment industry. And she was literally running the show. And by I mean running the show, you all, at the Black Writers Weekend here in the ATL for all writers, creatives, content creators, and especially podcasters. She was on the money, you all, showing people how to move, showing people where to go, telling people all the details to make sure their experience was a welcoming and also engaging experience for the Black Writers Weekend. And so I also found out she's Trinidadian, like myself and our family. And so I was like, we definitely have to have you come and talk to our audience about how you got into the entertainment industry, and also drop some jewels in telling people that may want to get into entertainment what are the steps and also what's the process to navigate. And so I'm about to get ready to introduce you all to my very special VIP guest. She goes by the name of Segan Alexandria, and she is here to run the jewels, you are. And so let me introduce you to my very special VIP guest today. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. We thank you for taking time out of your schedule to rock with us today. What we usually start off by our interviews is tell us, Segan, where you're originally from, Tell us where you're tuning in from today, and why is this an important subject for you to talk to our audience about?
Okay. So basically my whole life story. So I'm originally from Trinidad. I basically moved around the Caribbean a little bit, and then I moved to Canada when I was 6. So I'm tuning in from Toronto, Ontario, or Toronto, Canada. I think this is such an important conversation to have just because, well, being a biracial person, you kind of fit into this gray area of society where you don't necessarily have a belonging. For anyone who doesn't know, I am multiracial. So both of my parents are mixed. And so my mom, I'm basically Black, white, and Spanish. And I think being able to navigate the world being so much identities, it's very difficult to do. And being a part of the entertainment industry, it's definitely one of the most accepting industries, I would say, in terms of embracing the LGBT community, in terms of embracing like the racial, like biracial community and all the different races. I'm so glad that we are in this era of acceptance. And I feel like, again, like it's just such an important conversation to have. And I don't
That's a good start right there. We definitely got to tell people where you're rocking from. She's in Toronto, Canada. You all, we've been interviewing guests all across the globe this season, and so shout out to Toronto and even to TNT, the illustrious Trinidad and Tobago, where Segan and even my family heritage is by way of TNT. Shout out to Trinidad and Tobago again. But guests, if you are listening to Segan in our interview today, if you have any guests at any time for her, feel free to come onto the stage in Twitter or even in Wisdom. But we're talking about how she navigated the entertainment industry as a biracial leader. And so let's even start too. I know we were speaking a little bit about this. Like, tell us the meaning of your name, like your first name. Is very unique. I haven't heard people with that name before. Tell us the origin of that. How is it that you got the name Segan even?
I wish I had a more interesting story to tell you. My name means blessing. I have no idea where it originates from, but I'm trusting Google that it is probably Middle Eastern, and it means blessing. A lot of times when I meet people, they ask me if my parents were big like astronomer fans, because there's this guy named Carl Sagan who was this really big astronomer that existed like 1 billion years ago. But essentially, I got my name from my mom met this lady named Segan back when she was pregnant with me, and I'm the last of 3 girls, and everyone thought that I was a boy. And so when they found out I was a girl, my mom was just like, oh, we had all these boy names picked out, but I don't know, like, where are we gonna get another girl name? So she met this girl named Segan, and she really liked it. And I don't know if it was a very spontaneous, like, oh, I've never heard the name Segan before. Oh, like, so that's basically how I got my name. I wish it was a more interesting story, but
Oh, no, it's all good. We always like to highlight the names because as we've talked about before, the names definitely always can be traced back to certain cultures or even certain continents or countries. And so shout out to, again, like you mentioned, those who may be Segans or those who may know a Segan that are watching and listening. But I told her it's a very unique name when I met her. And so start with your family, because we know with the foundation of all of us, especially who know our parents, some people we know may not know who their parents were growing up, but how did your family and being from a diverse family play an impactful role with you going into entertainment? And how has your family influenced you today?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. I would say So like I said, I am multiracial. My mom is Black, white, Spanish. My dad is half white, half Black. If there's anything, my family is, we don't really look alike. Like, you can definitely see similarities, but I think if anything, we definitely have embraced the uniqueness of looking different and being of such a diverse group of people. And I think me going into the entertainment industry and me embracing what I look like and me embracing and wanting to like share my story and share my background, it was very encouraged, and they really supported that aspect of the direction that I wanted to take in my career path. And um, if anything, I'd say that my parents, I'm so grateful for my parents, because my parents, they have been so supportive of me going into the entertainment industry. It's not the most what's the word, like, it's not the most consistent, but it's the place where I feel the most accepted, and I feel like I'm the happiest. you know I don't know if that answers your question.
Oh no, that's right on par, especially when it comes to giving shout outs to our family, because we do come from a mother and a father. We do come from a bloodline that came before us, and so we always like to ask, how does family, or even family friends, for those that may not know their parents, play a part in their career or even in their influence. And so that was an awesome segue. But we're going to give you a quick commercial break so we can let you rest for a second while we highlight our VIP sponsor for today's episode. Each and every episode, we do highlight a VIP sponsor or affiliate that we partner with for each of our episodes, who is a business owner or a company or a service provider. And so take a look and see who our VIP sponsor is for today, you all. Let's take a look and see who our sponsor is for today's episode. So shout out to our VIP sponsor for today's episode, which comes from none other than Herb and Eden. Herb and Eden is our VIP sponsor for today. We use their wellness products with our team, and they have a ton of wellness soaps, oils, scrubs, even organic deodorants that they even produce. It's from a Black-owned company, so we have to always highlight those companies that are Black-owned. But Herb and Eden, you can receive 15% off on your first order that you are supporting their business at. Just go to the link that we're putting in the comment section below, and you could also again support your wellness and your health, especially your holistic health, which is one of the three components that we always highlight on the RTJ show is you have to do self-care and also take care of your health because it is your wealth. And so shout out to Urban Eden as our VIP sponsor for today's episode. But back to you, Segan. We want to make sure that we highlight when it comes to like, how did you get into entertainment? How did you want to go into entertainment? Did you have people that you were mentored by, or even that influenced you growing up? Like how were people able to show you the path or the blueprint to get into entertainment?
Okay, so like I said, I felt like the entertainment industry has always been the most accepting of, compared to any of the industries that I like could compare it to, any of the other industries, essentially. So I'd say, honestly, going back into my whole life story, in middle school I did track, and track and volleyball, and it never really resonated with me. And again, like, I never really felt like it was truly me, or it didn't feel right, you know? And so when I got into high school, I dropped sports completely, and I was like, let's try, like, you know, let's try the arts. Let's try like visual arts. Let's try like musicals and acting and stuff. And so I tried it, and I loved it. I honestly, being on stage, you get this kind of adrenaline rush that's just like unexplainable. And I think that was like the stepping stone for me, because it's somewhere where, as a biracial person, you fit into this gray area society. You don't really have this belonging. You can't check off that one box. And in the theater industry and in acting and the arts, you literally can be whoever you want, and you can just embrace who you are. And I honestly just felt like it just truly resonated with me, and I just wanted to pursue it more and see where it could take me. So that was where I in high school, when I was doing my musical theater. Yes, I'm a musical theater kid. I don't care. Judge me all you want. Like, that's where it all started for me.
Yeah, no, that's where we like hearing about, like, the beginnings, especially when it comes to I can't remember if you're a Gen Z or a millennial, but we still are one in the same. But a lot of folks see all the highlights on TV, but don't think that they can go into career fields outside of the movies, and particularly the television shows that we see, when there are tons of positions behind the scenes that you could even play or even have a role in. And that goes into, even stay with that point. When I met you, you were speaking about like educating me on like screenwriting. And at the Black Writers Weekend that we'll talk about shortly, I was meeting people that had different career fields in the writing industry that led them or propelled them into entertainment. So talk to us about, what is screenwriting? Like, how can someone get into screenwriting, and what are some of the skills even that you may need to go into being a screenwriter?
Ooh, okay. There's a lot of layers. Okay, so like I said, the entertainment industry was where I felt like I most resonated with. And I felt like I didn't know what part of the industry I wanted to do. So I started off with the acting, and then I was like, okay, this is fun. But then I was like, wait, but I really like storytelling, and I love, you know, the overall message of a TV show, movie, whatever is being produced. So I'm like, well, let's play around with this, and let's see if I can start writing. So I think the first step would probably just be grabbing a laptop, grabbing a pen and paper, and just start writing. And you do have to keep in mind like characters and keeping consistency of like how this person talks and how this person, I think, if anything, the biggest thing about screenwriting that I have learned is you really need to develop a good, strong characters and be very consistent in how you write your characters. So, and then also, like, again, like screenwriting, there's a lot of layers. I could go on a whole tangent about this, but Um, I'll try to keep it short. I'll try to keep. It's wow. It's really playing around with your characters, knowing the story that you want to tell, and then the overall message that you are trying to share with the world. And it's essentially it's like a story, but it's a visual story. And I think if there's one thing you really have to know, to really understand the story, the message that you're trying to share with the world, and whether if it's a reflection of yourself and what you want to share, or if there's another person's story that you got inspired from, yeah.
No, you're right on point with that. You're dropping a ton of jewels on literally screenwriting for those who may not even know goes into it. You're dropping those jewels for our audience today, and literally telling them the process of screenwriting. But even like tell people even from a basic like dummy perspective, and what is screenwriting for those who may not know about the different forms of writing. Like, what is screenwriting? What does it mean to be a screenwriter?
So screenwriting is basically the development of I would say like a TV show, a movie. It's basically developing the script and the words. And then the acting part is trying to figure out like what's in between the words. That's a whole other different story. Screenwriting, I would say, yeah, it's essentially just the story that's being told, and it's the written part of it. Developing a script, what that looks like, the format, the narrative, like what's going on in this scene, where is the scene being taken place, and then like what does this scene have to do with that scene, and where does that lead the story to. It's developing a storyboard and developing like again, developing your characters. I think like characters play such an important part in the process, because if you don't have strong characters, then the story may not be as interesting. But then again, that's my opinion. That is, I truly value just very strong characters in the books that I read, in the movies that I watch, in the TV shows that I watch, and the things that I analyze. And even when I'm looking through a script, I'm like, okay, this character is X, Y, and Z. It's a strong leader, but may be clumsy, maybe a little bit too hasty, doesn't think before they speak, doesn't have a filter. Like, there's just a whole lot of layers. And think about it, like if it's a person, like if it's an actual person, and thinking about that backstory. Again, the backstory of the characters are even more important, because again, it's just like, okay, how did this person become the person that they are in this point in time, in that present moment in the story. And that's just like that deep, I don't know, am I allowed to cuss? That deep stuff, that deep stuff that like adds the juice to the story,
Yeah.
It's all about storytelling.
You dropping a ton of jewels and letting people know about the importance of character development, and even the art of storytelling is what we call it, especially being from the South. We know that there's tons of storytelling opportunities, from being in poetry, spoken word, to writing, to even being a lyricist or an entertainer. And so like, stay with that point too. Like, you come from a diverse background. And so like, how has being diverse and being able to tell different stories from different cultural perspectives, whether it's from the Hispanic Latino perspective, whether it's from the Black or African American or Caribbean perspective, and even from the white or European perspective, like how has that enhanced or even propelled you to even tell stories at a better pace or a better rate compared to other people who aren't diverse or biracial?
Okay, that's a very good question. Honestly, I think for me, I just really had to figure out who I was and what I identify as. I think for me, it was just kind of like, yes, I am, Black, white, Spanish, but, and again, I can't check off one box. For me, it was also just trying to discover and trying to accept that about myself and trying to accept that about, okay, like, I don't fit in, I don't fit into one box. And I think, if anything, having that perspective, it's a very unique spot to be in the world. And I'd say that being able to share that, fitting in that little odd spot, being able to like share that experience with the world is something that I have a unique perspective on. So if anything, like, yes, I do identify as all these different things, but I feel like because I identify as all these different things, I can't give a authentic, I can't represent the Latin community fully. I can't represent like the Black community or the white community fully. I can only represent myself, So it fits into that like odd area in society, but I feel like having that unique perspective and being able to share what that's like has really inspired me to, use my voice and share my story. Because not a lot of people can share that,
Yeah, stay with that point too. And we wanted to give any of our wisdom listeners, if you're, of course, enjoying the jewels that you're hearing from my very special VIP guests, feel free to come on to the stage or Twitter Spaces to come on and ask any questions when it comes to being biracial and navigating your industry that you may work in. But stay with that last point with having a voice. A lot of my friends and family and even colleagues that may be biracial like yourself, they feel similar to what you said, that they can't identify fully with one particular cultural group or one particular ethnicity. And so, like, how has your voice basically, you may, of course, not be fully one particular ethnic group or fully one particular culture. And how have you seen yourself even transform in your voice being able to be shared more?
I I think, if anything, not being silent. I think, like, I want to bring up Meghan Markle. I want to bring up as Meghan Markle. She's also a biracial woman, but she is also someone who, like, she's not afraid to use her voice. We've been blessed to have a voice, so why not use it? I think the scary part is having the courage to say something and to share your story and to bring awareness. I think that's like the first step. Where did I get that confidence from? Honestly, I wasn't treated very well in high school, and I wasn't being treated very well in middle school. Again, sitting in this gray area of society, a lot of people didn't really treat me very well. So I think growing up and having experienced all of that, it's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, I don't want other people to feel that way. I don't want other people to feel alone or feel isolated, because at times, like, yes, you fit in this like small little area in society, and you're like, okay, but nobody else looks like me. What am I? You start asking yourself all these questions. You have identity issues. I mean, I definitely grew up with some identity issues, and I think because I have that experience and I know what it feels like to be alone and to be confused about what you are or who you are, I chose to speak up about it and to share my story, because I don't want other people that I have my identity or have similar identities. Maybe you're not mixed with Black, white, Spanish, or maybe you're Black, Asian, or you're mixed with something else. I don't want you to feel alone. And you do have other people that are mixed, and you do have other people that look like you, or that can identify with you in some kind of way. And I just use that as my inspiration.
Yeah, stay with that point. A lot of people, you're dropping jewels for some people who may be listening, who may be struggling with self-identity. And I know that you're still growing and blossoming in your career. But that's a real subject that we talk about, is the identity crisis of literally how you were raised and maybe dealing with identity issues from your upbringing, or even in the professional setting. Let's be frank. There's a ton of biracial friends and family that I come across that they seem to have to be more of a chameleon versus someone who may just be the minority in the workspace or in the workplace, because they don't fully get respect from one ethnic group versus the other. And so, like, stay with that point, like in dealing with the navigation of your career, when one side may be pulling you in the direction of pushing you out there to really dive into being part of this culture, versus the other side may feel ostracized or feel disrespected, that you are also not identifying the other part of your culture. Like, how can someone who's especially a young professional like yourself, or even a millennial or Gen Zer, basically be able to navigate that dilemma of which side do you really get pulled to, and how do you still keep your self-respect and identity?
Okay, so I have 2 points, two things that I've realized. One is accepting yourself, is accepting what you look like, and accepting, okay, this is my background. You fit into this odd spot. Okay. But at the end of the day, you need to realize that race is just so borderline. It's, at the end of the day, you are human. You are not, we all bleed the same blood. We all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. Like, we're all human. If anything, it should be the human race. That's the only race you should identify as. And in terms of people treating you like trash, I've come to the realization that if I get treated horribly by a certain race or by a certain someone, and I realize that, okay, they don't like me because of what I look like, what I identify as, XYZ, then I distance myself from them. I try to hang around people that accept me for who I am and what I look like, rather than what I identify as, or something a little less, something petty, like me being in the entertainment industry, or, you know, some garbage like that. I think, if anything, I try to look at the world blindly, and I try to attract people into my life that think the same way that I do, in terms of, okay, it's the human race. You know, it's not, oh, you're black, oh, this, that, the third. You know what I'm saying? I think, if anything, you should definitely distance yourself from those type of people that treat you like trash. And you try to attract people. I'm an energy type of person. If I don't pick up a certain vibe or a certain energy from you, then I'm not gonna want to be around you, and I'm not gonna stick around you. So if I get that vibe from you, then I'm gonna distance myself from you, and I'm gonna find other people that are like-minded. Yeah, that's how I navigate it. I mean.
Oh, that's a real concept in itself, because some people that I know that are biracial or even trilingual, that speak more than 2 languages, they struggle with really knowing how to navigate, and even how to not feel that they are offending someone else who may not get the same love that they are, of course, affiliated to because of their parents or their grandparents even. And so, like, talk to us, because you were literally alluding to our next question with the energy and also the person's personalities. And I think that's the Trini in you, because a lot of Trinis, we definitely are going to rock with people if they're being whack or if they're being fake, and we'll put you on blast. And so, like, talk to us about, like, going into hosting and even being able to be a leader in hosting the Black Writers Weekend. Like, how have you seen, like, cultures come together, especially when it comes to content creators or even writers or podcasters of color? And, like, where do you see the entertainment industry going when it comes to adopting biracial leaders?
Thankfully, I see it going upwards. I do see it being a lot more diverse and a lot more accepting, and I love the direction that the world and the industry is taking right now. At Black Writers Weekend, I sat at a very interesting spot because I was a producer and I helped produce the event. I helped plan it. I helped, do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, which was really interesting because I'd never done something like that before. And thankfully, I didn't get any hate. Thankfully, everyone was very accepting, and thankfully, everyone didn't isolate me or didn't judge me too much because of my appearance. They treated me like one of their own, and they treated me like a human being. And that is something that I greatly, like, I love that experience. It was such a great experience, honestly. Like, that was, hosting it was very nerve-wracking, but at the end of the day, I felt like it felt like a safe space. I felt like, we were it was in a room full of a bunch of minorities. We're like-minded people. We're all creators, and we just got together and we just celebrated each other. And that's just, what more can you ask for? It was very a safe environment,
Yeah, let people know, because I know you were literally everywhere when I was literally attending on the male podcasters panel. Like, tell people, what is the Black Writers Weekend, and even like, what is it about, and how did you get involved with it too, for those that may not know?
Okay, so Black Writers Weekend is held by AAMBC, which stands for African Americans on the Move Book Club, created by Tamika Newhouse, who is an author. Black Writers Weekend is all about celebrating and embracing Black creators in America, and hopefully it can become worldwide. I got involved by, I met Tamika Newhouse online, and at the time I was looking to be a screenwriter. And after talking to her about producing and all of that, I don't want to say it accidentally fell on my lap, but it was something that I was just kind of like, let's do that. That'd be interesting. That'd be fun. I've never done it before. Like, let's see how it goes. And so I started with screenwriting at AAMBC, and then it kind of, snowballed into event producing, and that's how I ended up running all over the place at Black Writers Weekend and hosting one of the events. That's the story behind that.
Shout out to Black Writers Weekend, especially, and you doing an awesome job. I know I got to chat with you and literally tell you that we definitely got to stay connected, especially from you running the show. Literally, people were depending on you. Like, tell people about like event production, and even like, what do you like about event production and even producing an event that people may need to know about if they also have those gifts or those skill sets?
So event producing, my favorite part was the day of. I think for me, I just thrive in like really like fast-paced, high-stress environments. I don't know why. I love it. I love the whole like hustle of it all. My biggest tip about event producing is it's a lot of prep, and it's a lot of, you really have to think about literally the nitty gritty of it all. Like, think outside of the box. Okay, like, if this goes wrong, what's plan B, or always have a plan B, because a day of, things happen that are not planned, things will go wrong, but you always have to have a plan B. That's my number one tip for event producing. And then also always have like a printout of the schedule and make notes. And it's one of the most, it can be chaotic. However, it's all the prep. Like Black Writers Weekend, we prepped for maybe 8 months before the actual weekend. and yet things still happened on Black Writers Weekend that we didn't even think of beforehand. And there are times where we didn't have a plan B and we just had to think about it on the spot. So number one advice, always have a plan B for anything that goes wrong. Even if there's a talent that doesn't show up, or if there's someone that can like host something on the fly, you know, like it's a lot, but it's fun. It's I had a great time, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I had a great time too, meeting yourself and other content creators, especially even seeing that y'all had some big names that were even at the Black Writers Weekend, for those who may not have heard about it here in Atlanta. And it was happening at the same time as the Earn Your Leisure Invest Fest that was literally 15 or 10 minutes right down the street, literally downtown by the Mercedes-Benz Stadium where our Falcons play. And so shout out again to Mika and also her team with the Black Writers Weekend. But really quick, before we let you go, talk to us about Canada and especially Toronto. I know from having family in Toronto how diverse it is there, but tell people who may not know about Canada, like what are some of the benefits of living in Canada that you've seen compared to being in the US, and like how culturally diverse is Canada or even Toronto specifically, and like how have people been able to enjoy and embrace cultural diversity in Toronto?
Okay, the best way I can describe Toronto is it is a very watered down, smaller version of New York. It's very, you know, you go to New York and you hear all these different languages, everyone looks different, there's all these different people, you know, it's so diverse, but Toronto is just a very smaller version to that. It does have its own culture. Like Canada, I don't it's not always cold. It's not always cold. It can be very hot. It can be way too cold. Like I was how else would I describe Canada? It's I mean, the people here are nice. It's not too different from the States. Canada, I mean, I like Canada. I mean, I grew up here, so I identify a lot with Canada. It's honestly like I can't really describe Canada without, because it's not that different from the States, if I'm being completely honest with you. You know,
Yeah,
all
no,
the stereotypes are always true.
yeah. To let people know who may have or may not have ever had the opportunity to travel to Canada, or even specifically like hear from someone who is a Canadian resident, like what is going on over there. Because I know y'all are safer. Let's be honest, y'all are much safer than the US. We already talked about that, but even for people that are into traveling, we wanted them to get a glimpse of what is your perspective of Canada.
Yeah, Canada is very diverse. Canada is very accepting. I don't know, like we don't necessarily have a culture here because there's just so many people from everywhere. Like I said, there's so many different languages. Everyone kind of looks different. Like it's so diverse. It's so accepting. Most parts of it is accepting, I will say. Like I said, anyways. Yeah,
no,
like
you drop them jewels. You telling people what languages really quick do they speak mostly in Canada, for those who may not know, because we always highlight that.
So the second language in Canada is French. You do hear Spanish, you do hear Russian, you do hear Ukrainian, you do hear Portuguese, you hear like I said, French. What else have I heard? I've heard Egyptian, some of the Middle Eastern languages. Yeah, you hear a lot of that too. Greek, Italian, like it's all over, honestly. Like it's a very diluted, smaller version of New York. Even my family in New York, they come up to Toronto and they're like, "Wow, it's a cleaner New York for sure. It's cleaner than New York, but it's yeah, I'd say it's around the same diversity. Yeah."
what's up. So for those that are listening, as we move into our final Jewel segment with you today, Segan, literally you need to go and travel to Canada. Shout out to Toronto too, that host Caravana. I was talking to Segan when I met her. It is a big Caribbean and carnival fete and festival. They literally celebrate it every August, and so shout out to Toronto too. But Segan, we've gone to the final Jewel segment of our interview today. You dropped a ton of jewel on our audience, Queen, and just telling people about how you've navigated being a biracial leader in the entertainment industry, and even educating us about Canada and why Canada is a melting pot for cultural diversity. Like, what would be one jewel of wisdom or a final jewel that you would want to leave with the audience today before we let you go?
I think my one thing that I want to leave y'all with is that appearance is just surface level. People are just, there's more to a person than an appearance, and don't be so quick to judge just based on appearance. Be loving, accepting. We are all human race. We are all the human races. Races don't matter. Yeah, be loving and accepting, and yeah, don't be so quick to judge on appearance, because appearance is just surface level. It has nothing to do with who a person truly is.
Ooh, that's a major jewel in itself for all of us to take in. Very wise words as a final jewel for this episode today. Like, tell people, Segan, how can they keep in contact with you? How can they follow up with you? Or even if they want to learn about how to get into the writing or screenwriting industry, like, tell people how they can follow and support you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Segan Alexa. You can DM me any of your questions. I'm on there like all the time, so it's the most reliable source to like keep in contact with me or contact me or keep up to date with what I'm doing and all of that. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Absolutely. Shout out to IG. You can follow again Segan at SGNLEXA. That's SGNLEXA on IG. And you heard her. She's very active, you all. But Segan, before we let you go, we definitely want to say a quick blessing, a quick prayer over you for taking time out of your day to share your jewels of wisdom with us on the subject matter. And for those who are listening, if you feel led, we do believe in sowing where you reap. And if you've been able to enjoy today's episode and learn some new tools or some new jewels to take with you into your careers, feel free to sow a seed with us. There's 3 ways to sow. You could either Cash App a donation to us at $SMART, SMART. JEWELZ. You can click the link that we're putting in the comment section below to purchase a new set of merchandise or a new set of merch that we just launched this past season to help support our brand and also our international travels that we make for the RTJ Travel Show. Or number 3, you can partner with us by being a monthly Patreon, also by clicking the link that we're putting in the comment section. No donation is too small or too large. All the names that you see at the bottom of the screen have been donors, sponsors, or VIP supporters for this season. Shout out to Midnight Prayer Watch, Delta Community Credit Union, ExpressVPN, Jazz in the Alley, Janine, and even Urban Eden and others today, you all. But we could not have made this show a success without you. But Segan, I'm going to say a quick prayer over you and let you of course, go on your way, and thanking you again for your time with us today, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me, honestly.
Absolutely. Father God, I just want to thank you for Segan. Thank you for what you are doing in and also through her, and being a voice of truth and also even a voice of wisdom in relating and being relatable to others that may be biracial and may have issues or even concerns with identifying and also having their personal identity that is not a distraction, but that is also an asset to them. We thank you for her family and also her upbringing and also her skills that she is showing people and how to literally use your skill set to make your career and your career profession shine and be able to stand on your identity from multiple cultures that you've given her. We ask that she will open new doors for others to have the confidence and boldness to speak up and to use their international or multicultural voice in their career or in their industry. And we pray that you will even open new doors and new opportunities for her to partner and for her even to have clients that are seeking her wisdom and her guidance this next season. We love you, Abba. I praise you and I give you all the glory and the honor and the praise for this time that you've allowed us to share. And it's in Jesus, Yahuwah's name, I give all the thanks and praise. Amen.
Amen.
We appreciate you coming on for rocking with us, Queen. Definitely, we'll have to bring you back sometime for another episode to give us the before and after, because I know you've just transitioned into a new position, and even letting people know more about the writing industry itself, because that is an untapped area for a lot of millennials and Gen Zers out there. But thank you so much for walking us through your testimony and your process of being in the entertainment industry. And I will be in touch, and to have a great rest of the day too.
You as well. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. This was my first ever podcast, so I'm like so excited to be here, but thank you so much. I had a great time.
You did an awesome job. Thank you again for your time, and enjoy the rest of your week too, Queen. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You.
All right, y'all. I'm going to do a quick wrap up for some jewels for thought. Thank you for those that were rocking with us on Wisdom and even on Twitter Spaces. But you heard it first from our very special VIP guest who was talking to you all and myself about identity. We are someone that does not shuck or dodge talking about self-identity and how we identify in the world and even in our families and our circles. And so hopefully you were inspired by embracing your cultural identity, embracing your multiculturalism, and even embracing your true self. As she said, at the end of the day, when the doors are closed, when you come home from work, you have to deal with yourself and how you view yourself, not how others view you, but how you view yourself internally. And so make sure you are not faking it. If you need help or if you need any assistance with that, there's coaching, there's consulting, there's therapists and counselors, and even individuals that are professionals like Segan and others that can walk with you through that process of identifying with yourself in a positive and uplifting way. And so those are all of my jewels for thought, you all. Definitely take a look at the video that we are releasing as a premiere episode for what we do for the RTJ show this season. We are on the road traveling, you all. We're going to Asia. We've already been to Central South America and the Caribbean, and into the motherland shortly. So take a look and see what we are having in store for our travel Smart Jewels Travel podcast we are launching this season, you all. But go and follow us on all podcast streaming platforms at the Run the Jewelz podcast show, and we'll see you all next episode. And so take a look at a preview of things to come for Smart Travel Jewels, you all. Take a look.